Well, it's like with Hillary. I was behind in the polls in the battleground states and every poll, and then I ended up winning all those states.
Suburban voters are walking away from Donald Trump. This is your 2020 fix. President Trump won suburban voters in 2016, in part due to some of his surrogates like Ivanka Trump really connecting with voters in areas just outside of America's cities.
As president, my father will change the labor laws that were put in place at a time when women were not a significant portion of the workforce.
The campaign's ability to find the issues that resonate mostly with working moms and stay-at-home moms and white women helped Trump perform really well with these groups that Democrats were really going for. But since the 2018 midterm elections, the Republican Party has seen decreased support from this very important voting bloc, and all signs point to it being because of the rhetoric of President Trump. There's data to support that these voters have expressed real concern about how racist they believe President Trump is in his tweets, in his speeches, and even in his policies. One of the earliest signs of discomfort with Trump that we saw among these voters was tied to his immigration policy, specifically the locking of minor children in cages. Since then, the president's defense of Confederate memorials honoring men who fought to keep Black people enslaved, the president attacking demonstrators protesting police violence, and the president going as far as to attack those who feel uncomfortable with sports teams having names that offend Native Americans, has deeply disappointed these voters and made them so uncomfortable that his approval ratings with them have gone down. And the president's recent position that schools should reopen in the fall, despite experts producing no data or information suggesting that schools are actually safe enough to reopen in the fall, it's likely going to be a huge issue for many of these voters who have kids in school.
So we're very much going to put pressure on governors and everybody else to open the schools, to get them open.
The reason losing suburban voters is a big concern is because it's largely believed that the 2020 election will be decided by the margins. And we know in states like Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, it was suburban voters who delivered the White House to Trump ultimately. In previous elections, we've seen Republican lawmakers make it incredibly clear to their voters that they stand behind Donald Trump. But as the president's popularity and approval ratings have declined, so have the overt expressions of support from these lawmakers.